This lesson covers the comparison of adjectives. In English, when we compare adjectives, what we're actually saying is we're trying to figure out how we might say, we can use the adjective big, that's the positive, right? The boy is big. Or the comparative degree, bigger. So this is what we call the comparative. Right? I see a bigger boy. And then we can have biggest. We call this the superlative. So this lesson is going to demonstrate how to form these comparatives and superlatives based off of just the positive degree. Now, the positive degree, as I mentioned, is just the straightforward adjective. And there are two types, as you've already learned. We have adjectives of the first and second declension. Miser, misera, miserum, wretched. And we have adjectives of the third declension. Remember, this is how they're going to decline. So we have fortis, forte. Here's two termination adjective, strong, and keller, kelleris, kellere, swift, a three termination third declension adjective. But regardless of how they decline, they're going to match the noun they're modifying in gender, number, and case. So when you learn these adjectives, you learn that miser, misera, miserum can decline in every case, in every number, in every gender. Fortis, fortis, same way. Keller, kelleris, kellere, also all three genders, singular, plural, all five cases. So that's the positive degree. That would just be wretched, strong, or swift. But what if we want to say more wretched, or stronger, or swifter, or more swift? That's the comparative degree. So this is going to be our ER, or our more blank. So how do we do this? First, we're going to take any adjective, or almost any adjective, and we're going to add IOR and IUS to the stem. So IOR is going to be our masculine feminine, and IUS is going to be our neuter. So we're going to take our stem. Let's just, for argument's sake, take fortis, strong. If we want to say stronger, we'll take our stem, fort, and add IOR, fortior for the masculine and feminine, and fortius for the neuter. Fortior, fortius. And it's going to decline like a third declension adjective of two terminations. So fortior, there's going to be our masculine and feminine, and fortius, there's our neuter. And the stem is actually going to be this entire nominative singular. But it's not an I stem. Okay, so it's not like your other third declension adjectives. It is, I repeat, not an I stem. So what does this look like? Well, here we have the comparative of miser, wretched. So we took our stem, miser, and added IOR for the masculine and feminine, and IUS for the neuter. So miserior, miserius, there's our nominative. And now our stem, remember, is going to be the entire nominative singular, and we add our third declension endings onto it. So miserioris, miserioris. Dative miseriori, miseriori. Accusative miseriorum, miserius. Remember, accusative is same as the nominative for the neuters. And ablative miseriora, miseriora. And in the plural, same basic process. We've got our stem, which was found off the nominative singular, miserior, and then we have our endings, miseriores, miseriora. Remember, not an I stem, so it's not miserioria, just miseriora. Miseriorum, miseriorum, miserioribus, miserioribus, miseriores, miseriora, miserioribus, miserioribus. And this is how it's going to work for any adjective that you encounter, or just about any adjective. That is, the comparative degree is going to be a third declension adjective, regardless of where it started. Remember, miser was first and second, But the minute that it became comparative, the minute we decided to say more wretched, it became a third declension adjective. So let's try another one. Facilis, facile, easy. All right, we're going to take our stem, facil, and we're going to add ior, so facilior for our masculine feminine, and our stem, and facilius for the neuter. Now when we decline it, remember the stem is going to come from the nominative singular, so it will be, I misspelled that, facilioris. And for the neuter, same thing, facilioris. Notice, the neuter nominative singulars, facilius, only appears in the nominative and the accusative. We drop off this ius after the other cases. So facilioris for the neuter. Dative, faciliori. Faciliori. Dative, faciliorem. And accusative, facilius, because it's the same as the nominative. And ablative, faciliore. Faciliore. In the plural, same stem, facilior, and then our ending, faciliores. In the neuter, faciliora. Genitive, facilior. Same thing in the neuter, faciliorum. Facilioribus. Facilioribus. Accusative, faciliores. Faciliora. And ablative, facilioribus. And facilioribus. So this would be easier. In all cases, all numbers, all genders. So that's the comparative degree. Now on to the superlative degree. In English, our blankest, biggest, swiftest, or most swift, most blank, or in Latin it can also be translated as very swift. So how do we form the superlative degree? We're going to take our stem and we're going to add issimus to it. So strongest would be fortissimus. Right? And then notice fortissimus, fortissima, fortissimum. This is going to be a first and second declension adjective. So like the comparatives were third declension adjectives, the superlative adjectives are first and second declension adjectives. It doesn't matter what it started off with. So fortis, forte was a third declension adjective, strong, but strongest becomes a first and second declension adjective. So let's try a few. So fortis, forte, take our stem fort, as we've already done, it becomes fortissimus. And we'll decline just like bonus, bona, bonum. Grauus, grauer, we have our stem gra, and we add issimus, Ingens, ingentus, what's our stem? Ingent, so huge, if we want the hugest, ingentissimus. Or validus, strong. And although this is a first and second declension adjective, the form is exactly this. You form the superlative the same way, the strongest. Validissimus. So that's the basic way to form the superlative degree. Now there is a few little catches here. If the adjective ends in er, instead of adding issimus, we're just going to add rimus to the stem, and then decline it like a first and second declension adjective. So what would these look like? Miser, all right, the stem is miser, so the superlative is going to be miser, and then we add rimus, miserimus. Acer, the stem acer, acerimus. Or ruber. Notice we're taking the nominative to form these. Red, and so the reddest would be ruberimus. And what you'll notice between the regular superlatives and these ER superlatives is we've got a double consonant. So issimus, erimus. And then one other exception is adjectives that end in lis. And here instead of rimus, we're going to add limus. And if you know anything about linguistics, you'll know that L's and R's are these liquids. They're fairly interchangeable between various languages. I'm just going to decline like a first and second declension adjective. So we have facilis, facile, easy. Take our stem, facil, and facilimus, Similis, similar, like, stem simil, similimus, or gracilis, slender. There's our stem, gracil, and then add our limus. And remember, these are all first and second declension adjectives, so we can add the feminine and the neuter if we want. So facilimus similimus gracilimus Again, like the regular and the ER superlatives, look for this double consonant before the ending. So that's the basic way to form the comparative and the superlative off a positive degree adjective. Now, like English with good, better, best, Latin does have irregular comparatives, and you're just going to have to memorize these irregular comparatives. Now, these are found on a list on page 151 in Latin and Intensive Course. The 5 common irregular adjectives, so Latin Intensive Course by Moreland and Fleischer, page 151. They can be found other places around the internet. 2 of the most common, bonus, bona, bonum, good, melior, melius, better, optimus, optima, optimum, best. Or malus, mala, malum, bad, peor, peius, worse, pessimus, worst. Now what you'll notice is that the comparatives are again third declension, just like regular comparatives, and the superlatives are first and second declension adjectives, just like the regular superlatives. So you don't have to worry necessarily that these are going to decline any differently. It's just that the forms, there's no way you could guess melior from bonus, and the same with optimus.